Entering the invisible system, from awareness to action. By now, a pattern should be clear. There is the world most people see, and there is the world that quietly decides outcomes. There is effort, and there is leverage. There is possession, and there is production. There is money, and there is access. Each episode has peeled back a different layer, and the picture is no longer abstract. But awareness alone does not change a life. Awareness without action becomes entertainment. Awareness with action becomes transformation. The final step is not about discovering a secret door. There is no password, no hidden society, no exclusive invitation. Entering the invisible system is less dramatic than people imagine and far more practical. It is not a leap. It is a series of deliberate shifts repeated over time. The first shift is identity. Before strategies, tools, or investments, there is self-perception. Many people unconsciously identify as consumers rather than creators, workers rather than builders, participants rather than owners. Identity shapes decisions silently. When someone sees themselves only as a spender, every opportunity looks like a purchase. When someone sees themselves as a builder, every opportunity looks like a structure waiting to be designed. This is not about arrogance or pretending. It is about permission. Permission to think beyond survival. Permission to participate in creation instead of observation. The invisible system is entered the moment a person stops asking, "How do I fit in?" and starts asking, "What can I construct?" The second shift is skill direction. Not all effort carries equal weight. Time invested in skills that scale changes financial gravity. Skills that reach beyond physical location. Skills that can be distributed digitally. Skills that solve meaningful problems for many people rather than a few. The goal is not to collect random abilities. The goal is to develop at least one skill that multiplies opportunity, instead of merely filling hours. Skill direction is powerful because it increases optionality. Optionality reduces fear. When fear reduces, decisions become clearer. A person with valuable, transferable skills is not easily trapped by circumstances because they carry value within themselves, not only within a job title. The third shift is ownership thinking. Ownership thinking does not begin with large capital. It begins with small decisions. Creating instead of only consuming. Building instead of only buying. Participating in equity when possible. Producing digital assets, intellectual property, or scalable services. Even small ownership moves, repeated consistently, begin to change financial architecture.
Ownership thinking transforms income from a destination into a resource. Instead of asking, "What can this money buy?" the question becomes, "What can this money build?" The difference is subtle, but powerful. One ends in consumption. The other begins in expansion. The fourth shift is environment. Environment is often underestimated because it feels invisible. Yet the people you listen to, the conversations you engage in, and the information you absorb quietly shape your expectations. Expectations shape behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. When surrounded by survival conversations, ambition shrinks. When surrounded by growth conversations, imagination expands. This does not require abandoning existing relationships. It requires adding new inputs. Books, communities, mentors, digital spaces, and educational platforms become mental architecture. The mind grows in the direction of its exposure. Environment is not only physical. It is informational. It is relational. It is psychological. The fifth shift is patience with direction. The invisible system does not reward speed alone. It rewards consistency guided by clarity. Many people abandon progress because results do not appear immediately. They plant seeds and dig them up to check growth. True financial transformation behaves more like agriculture than gambling. It requires planting, nurturing, and trusting compounding processes. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active continuation. The sixth shift is strategic experimentation. Entering the invisible system does not mean risking everything at once. It means testing intelligently, trying small projects, launching modest digital products, collaborating on minor partnerships, exploring side ventures, observing feedback, adjusting direction. Each experiment builds insight. Insight reduces risk. Reduced risk increases confidence. People often wait for perfect certainty before acting. Perfect certainty rarely arrives. Progress favors calculated movement over endless hesitation. Small experiments are safer than large regrets. Another crucial element is financial awareness, not obsession, not anxiety, awareness, knowing where money flows, understanding expenses, recognizing patterns. Awareness turns money from a mystery into a tool. Without awareness, income leaks silently. With awareness, income becomes intentional. The invisible system is not about hoarding. It is about directing. Direction determines destination. There is also a psychological transformation that occurs during this journey. The focus shifts from immediate gratification to long-term positioning. Instead of chasing quick wins, individuals begin constructing foundations. Instead of measuring success weekly, they measure progress yearly. This longer horizon reduces emotional volatility and increases strategic calm. Calm creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. It is important to understand that entering the invisible system does not isolate you from the visible one. Jobs still exist. Bills still exist. Responsibilities remain real. The difference is internal orientation. The visible economy becomes the training ground and funding source. The invisible economy becomes the destination and multiplier. You begin to live in both, but you are no longer trapped in one. Another powerful realization is that transformation is rarely loud. It often happens quietly. No dramatic announcements, no sudden lifestyle changes. Just gradual upgrades in thinking, skill, ownership, relationships, and direction. Over time, these invisible shifts produce visible outcomes. What looked like overnight success was actually silent preparation. The final step is commitment to continuity. Consistency beats intensity. A few focused actions repeated over months outperform bursts of enthusiasm, followed by long pauses. Momentum builds when actions become habits rather than events. Small ownership moves, regular skill improvement, ongoing relationship building, continuous learning. These are not glamorous, but they are effective. And effectiveness is what changes trajectories. Here is the truth that ties everything together. You do not enter the invisible money system by discovering something magical. You enter it by becoming someone intentional. Intentional with learning. Intentional with spending. Intentional with relationships. Intentional with time. Intentional with ownership. At first, the changes are internal. Then they become behavioral. Eventually, they become structural. Structures create stability. Stability creates freedom. Freedom creates choice. And choice is the real indicator that you have crossed the threshold. Because the ultimate goal was never just money. It was control over direction, control over time, control over opportunity. The invisible system was never truly hidden. It was simply waiting for those willing to look beyond activity and begin building architecture instead of chasing appearances. Once you start building architecture, The world does not just look different, it responds differently.